Hi, guys. Welcome to Own Your Essence, the podcast where healing meets empowerment. I'm your host, April DeMille, a psychic medium and a life coach specializing in grief, trauma, and toxic relationship recovery. This is a space for deep conversations, powerful transformations, and raw healing. Each week, we'll dive into soul centered topics like psychic mediumship, the supernatural, metaphysical wisdom, emotional grief, addiction, mental health, spiritual wellness, and self discovery. Through inspiring interviews and personal insights, this podcast is here to spread awareness, spark connection, and support your healing journey. If you're ready to set boundaries, reclaim your confidence, and step into your true power, you're in the right place. Let's own your essence together. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Own Your Essence podcast, where we get to have deep transformational conversations with some of our favorite people. I'm your host, April DeMille, and today we have a lady joining us named Heather Danielle. Heather is a psychic medium, a mentor, and a host of the Spiritual as Fuck Life podcast. So it's Spiritual AF. She is also the founder of, what is this? One second. The founder of Spiritual Life University. So we are gonna, oh, I'm gonna love talking to this lady. It's gonna be fun stuff. Okay. Okay. So I have just read your intro, Heather. I was telling everybody that you are the founder of Spiritual Life University and the you have a podcast also, Spiritual as Fuck, right?
Yeah, spiritual
Yeah.
AF
Yeah.
life.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. I call it as fuck, but whatever. We know what it means.
Yes. You know it. You know
Yeah,
that's
we
my
know it.
secret.
Yeah. So, I was telling them that, but if you want to offer a little bit more of an expanded vision of who you are, and then we can kind of unpack some of that stuff, let's do that.
Oh my gosh, yes. So first off, super excited to be here with you. And so yeah, I'm Heather Danielle. I'm a psychic medium. My forte, the thing that I love is opening up others to their gifts. It's the thing that I just absolutely love to do because I didn't always know that I had abilities. So that's the one thing is I know so many psychic mediums out there. They're like, "Oh, I've been seeing stuff since I was a kid and all these other things." I'm like, "Totally not me." Did not think that I had any kind of abilities. And it was when I was a teenager, kind of maybe around 10 years old though, is when my stepfather entered my life and he was a sorcerer. And so he did spells and all these crazy things. And
Okay.
even then, I really didn't feel like there was any kind of abilities. And then, of course, you grow up, you grow out of those things. And then, I don't know, it was a crazy turn of events, probably around when I turned 30 years old that led me into my abilities in the spiritual world and had some health issues and had to go holistically. And then next thing you know, bam, I am I'm
You're
opening
just
up
like,
to my gifts.
yeah,
Yes.
it's just like zapped you on.
Yes, I always say I was like, "Oh, I wasn't sick. I was psychic this whole time."
Yeah, it's crazy how that fucking works, huh?
Oh
Like,
my God, no clue.
I had so many health complications. Well, I still have some weird ass health complications, but um they were a lot worse in a lot of different ways as I was coming through that awakening process. And
Yep.
I would say a lot of it got better after I finally was like, "Oh yeah, I'm psychic, by the way."
Yes, because it's almost like empaths, sensitives, those
Yeah.
people. We are the ones that are usually the medical anomalies, we're the
Yeah.
ones with all these things. And I think it has to do with how sensitive we are to energies and
It
stuff that we don't
it
even realize it.
totally, yeah, we have the most
Yes.
magical fucking bodies, and I don't say that in a great way. Like I'm not like, oh, this is fun because it is not fun
No.
sometimes.
Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah, exactly. So you said your stepdad. I kind of want to like talk about that. Your stepdad coming in. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience? Are you comfortable sharing some of that?
Oh my gosh. Yes. And it's so crazy when I look back on this time. I'm like, I'm so happy that it happened because it
Yeah.
gave me such a view of, spirituality, where people come from, all those things. So
Hmm.
he was a sorcerer. And the way that he taught me was that sorcery was, kind of like witches in a way where they
Hmm.
really use Mother Earth or emotions and that kind of thing. So
Hmm.
we did spells regularly at our house. It was just something that we did. We tried to like, we held seances sometime, but that really wasn't anything that we did. We used black mirrors and potions and that kind of stuff. But he was always telling me that he was working, he was a good sorcerer because sorcerers, if you look at all the textbooks and things like that, they were the bad guys. They were evil. They were the wrong ones. But he
Hmm.
says, oh no, we are working with, the good stuff. But when I look back on it and I see some of the things that were happening and going on in our house, I'm like, that was not good stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it had darker nature to it.
Yes, like he started charging for his services, which is making talismans and things like that for people to help bring and manifest whatever they want into their life. So, like for one woman, oh, actually one man, he was trying to get him to get the love of his life because his love of his life had broken up with him and he loved him. So he was doing a love spell to try and get her back. But in
Hmm.
order to do a spell like that, especially because it wasn't working, all these little smaller spells, he had to do like he had to sacrifice a
Like an
chicken. He had to
offering. Yeah.
Yep, an
Yeah.
offering. And then that's when he's like, I remember him, taking off that night and he was like, yeah, I had to go make this sacrifice and I had to call upon like the demon second to the devil. And I am like, what are you
Yeah.
talking
There's definitely
about?
nothing good about that nature.
I was like, so I am like, I don't know, 15, 16 years old when all this
Yeah.
stuff is going on. And, I did a lot of like the cutesy spells, a lot of like
Yeah.
gypsy love magic and stuff like that. It's like, oh, put a
Were
bay leaf.
you
Yeah.
afraid of the stuff he was doing, or were you just kind of like conditioned to it at that point?
I think I was conditioned to it and I
Yeah.
wasn't afraid.
Yeah.
But one night I remember doing a spell, and in the book, I was very thorough with reading all of the books and having all of the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And he walks in and he was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing this love spell. And it's about like, I will dream of my future husband and that stuff. And he got very upset. He almost became irate. And he was like, you
Wow.
shouldn't be doing these spells because you don't understand the consequences of them. And he was like, if you even try to change the future, then you're going to be messing up your whole life. And I'm like, whoa, I've read this book and I'm going by your teachings as well. So you're teaching me that not everything is inside of these books. Like, I don't know, like, it's not telling me everything I need to know. And he's like, no, it's not. And then after that part, that's when kind of stopped and I stood back because I am like, okay, I might be playing with something that I don't completely understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I did not do that spell anymore. He did give me runes and tarot cards and all of
Yeah.
that stuff. And I would do black magic, as in like the black mirror, and
Yeah.
then try to go in other dimensions and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I look back on it now and I'm like, I'm so happy that I went through all of that and I could see some of the things that he was doing
Yeah.
because black magic and the dark side of some things, what people might choose to do, is rarely talked about inside of like our spiritual realm now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people are all love and light and everything has to look this certain way. But the reality is uh, our human experiences have a lot of polarity.
Yes.
And I can speak from my own experiences. I've been in places and frequencies where I've seen very dark, I've seen demonic things. I've seen very dark things happen right in front of my face. But the difference is I can observe something without being a part of something, right?
Yes.
Like I can observe that there is some part of this that I really don't want anything to do with, and I don't vibrate in that way. Like I don't function on that frequency wave. Um, and I'm not one to invest in the fear-based ideas around that because it is pretty dark stuff. It is out there, it is a thing, but it's not it can't access me. Does that make sense? Because I don't,
Exactly.
right? Like we don't
Yes.
we don't give it access, so it can't thrive in our frequency, basically. Like it has no
No.
access to us.
No, I
Um,
think about that sometimes, like
yeah.
so many people are so scared to open up spirituality and things like that, open up to
Mhm.
the gifts because of all the bad things. And
Well,
then
yeah, because
I
we're
am like,
conditioned to believe that everything we don't understand means it's
mhm,
demonic.
yep,
Everything we don't understand means it's, and how many of us have been raised around the religious dogma of,
yes.
oh, you're seeing visions, you're going to hell.
Oh, I know.
You're even though Jesus was a visionary, but whatever.
Is it? I know.
But
It's so
okay.
hypocritical.
Yeah.
So hypocritical in that. I know, and it's so funny because, I have people in my life that, are very religious and things like that. And I'm open to everybody, as I know that you are. But it's so
Hmm.
funny. One of them actually came to my house. They didn't say it to my face, but they waited till I left. And they were like, I just get a really bad feeling in her house. And I am like, okay, this is hilarious because my house, it's only me and my husband here. We laugh all the time. We're having such a good time. Like we are laughing. It's crazy. We don't watch anything bad on TV. It's always funny. We love each other. It's such a, like, I swear to God, if you walk into my house, it might feel peaceful or boring. So it's almost like
Right.
anything that's
Well,
like evil wouldn't be attracted to this. They're going to be bored and they're going to leave.
and I think that there's something to be said about healers in general,
Mm,
because a healing, especially an intense healer that's very confident and in tune with
mm.
themselves, and other dimensions, that can scare people because of their own insecurities and their own shadow work
Yes.
that hasn't been done. So it can be very
Yes.
frightening. It can be very overwhelming, and they'll be like, "Oh God, it feels too much," because bitch, it is too much for you right now. You can't
Yes.
handle all this. You got to do the work.
Yes. I was like, some people can't handle
Yeah,
like that love and that kind
you're
of
not
thing.
in the place where you're ready to unpack that work. And so you're right, we're not a vibe right now.
Yes. And so it's like almost like if something were negative, low vibrating, which you have to be a frequency match for it,
You
because
do.
it
Yeah.
it is true what they say, the law of attraction, like attracts like, that kind of thing. It would come in my house and it would get so bored and it would probably leave because that wasn't always the case. Because I used to be in a lot of violent situations, I
Yeah.
used to
Oh,
be
me
where
too.
there, exactly. We
So you're
all of us.
attracting it. Yeah. At
Yes.
that point, even if you're doing it subconsciously because the patterns and the behaviors are already in your framework,
Yes.
you're still attracting it. You're a fucking magnet to it. And until you
Exactly.
do that inner work, it's not your reality will not
Oh my
change.
gosh, no. And like my whole entire environment was full of toxicity. There was a lot of
Yeah.
addiction, all these
Yeah.
horrible things that are happening inside of the house. And I could totally see now how
Hmm.
I could have been a magnet. I could have been attracting,
Totally.
the lower vibrating things. And
Yeah.
now it's completely different.
Yeah.
Um, and I love how you said something along the lines of someone that's confident, like a
Yeah.
confident, person. And I remember when I first opened up my gifts, that was the first thing too that I was scared of. Like, what if there's bad things?
Yeah.
Like what if there is? And like you said, we live in a world where it is, duality, the yin and yang, all these things. And
Hmm.
so I never thought that I would ever be the person to be able to like stand up to something that was like that I couldn't see or hear. But I have to tell you this quick little story because I had gotten one of those walking pads, right? So people
Hmm.
have a walking pad and you just walk. It's like a mini treadmill, if you will. And I had it in my living room and I would walk on it from time to time. It was still fairly new. Probably had it for maybe at this time, maybe a few weeks, maybe a month. And I'm sitting there just watching TV. I was the only one that's home and I'm just walking my own business. Well, something happened and I've been living in my house for over 10 years. Never had anything like this happen before. But all of a suddenly, all the lights started flickering, flashing on and off. Like my TV went off, my TV went on, and at the same time, the treadmill starts going like 100 miles an hour. I had tried to see how fast this treadmill could go before, and it could not go that fast.
Yeah,
And so
they're like governed at a certain speed.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So here I am, like sprinting on this freaking treadmill. I'm not able to stop. Like it almost seems like the force is keeping me on this treadmill, which is the craziest thing, right? I have no other choice. I'm like freaking out. So I ended up jumping, like almost like rolling and jumping off of the treadmill. And as
Yeah.
soon as I stood up, it was like I think the lights either went on or they went back off one last time. And I opened up the door because I was about to run out of my house, right? We've all seen those scary movies,
Yeah,
and they
for
run to the
sure.
basement or upstairs. I'm like, no, I'm running out. And I remember opening up the door and I was like, I'm getting the heck out of here because I don't know what the hell is in this house. And that's when I realized that I'm like, wait a second. No,
It's
no,
your
I'm
house,
not.
girl.
It's my house. This isn't
Yeah.
your house. This is my
Yeah.
house. And I
Yeah.
remember I kept the door open though. I kept the door open and I talked to it. And I was like, I don't know what the hell is here. And
Yeah.
so I did that and I, yelled whatever, just like kind of you would if somebody like broke into your house, basically. It's just that they didn't have a body, whatever this thing was. And it was funny because I still in the back of my head thought like, okay, this was not spiritual nature. This was something like electrical issue. And I remember like calling my husband up right away and he was like, I'm on my way home. I will check it out. And he checked it out and he listened to my story. He was like, what you were saying makes no sense. It's not possible with how the electricity is set up in our house.
Right.
He was
Yeah.
like, this cannot happen. And so I honestly, I called up the people for the treadmill like the next next day, the code that was flashing didn't even exist in their system. They had
Yeah.
no idea where it came from. And I just ended up, I guess I could have blessed it and stuff like that, but I just ended up just getting rid of it. I was
Yeah,
like, you know what?
just to be cautious
Yeah.
and on the safe side, because I get it. Like some people you never really know.
Okay.
And honestly, I love that you said like you're talking about your house because like I've talked about this before. We have what we call house rules. We're actually in charge of what we engage with, 100%. So when people are out there going, "Oh, you're talking to demons." No, sure not. Like they can't, again, they can't even reach me. Good luck trying. And if there's
Yes.
ever any question, I, even with my own spirit guides and the teams of light workers that I work with, like I don't even give them permission to access me whenever they want. Like,
Yes.
I have business hours and I have sleeping hours, and I do not like to be disturbed just like whenever, like, that's not how it works, right? Like, I have an open and close sign. I have like
Yes.
all, there are rules to engaging with me, whether you're in physical form or spiritual, it does not matter.
And I think that's the key right there. You
Yeah,
have boundaries with the physical people,
100%.
but you need those, whether or not you open up to your spiritual gifts, whether or not you're going to open up the door, it doesn't matter. It's going to be there, you know?
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
it's like you have to have boundaries with the spiritual realm. And then people are
yeah.
like, well, there's evil. Well, there's evil in human form too. You know,
Yeah, I was gonna say there's like there's nasty stuff everywhere. You get to
yes.
decide whether or not you even look that direction.
Exactly. And then all of a suddenly, it's like you realize that you attract such beautiful things because you end up being a
Right.
beautiful person and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And then it's like the little parts, even though we're talking about duality and, that kind of thing, it's almost like you can see that there's more good in the world or more good with you
Mhm.
in your world than there is the bad, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And again, that comes back to confidence and practiced,
Hmm.
practiced behaviors and doing the shadow work and the inner work and facing all that stuff because that confidence comes through that.
Oh my gosh, it really, really does.
Yeah.
Because the more that you get healed and you stand into your own and inside your own power, because so many people are like asking me, like, oh, is it the cross that has lot of the power? Because they see it in the
It is
movies,
if you believe
Or
that and you give it that.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Is it the holy water? Is it this? Is it that? And it's like it's whatever it is that's going to get you to rise into your power, to
Right.
be the person that has that confidence and can believes that they can fight back, I guess,
Yeah.
if that makes
It
sense.
can be in a tree leaf or tree branch if that's what you decide all the powers in, like whatever, because humans need something to hold on to.
Yeah.
We're super like physical beings and 3D beings. We're super emotional. We have attachments. And so humans need that. Some people wear a necklace or the cross or whatever.
Yes.
Whatever it is you decide that you need to give you that armor, then there's no wrong answer with that.
No, and I believe too, sometimes it can help out because people don't really believe or understand the power of intention. And so
Right.
if they have something to hold on to or to wear and things like that, then they can start feeling like, oh, nope, like I have this now and
Right.
this has the power, so it
Right.
kind of helps them with their
It does help
confidence.
until they understand that they really don't
Yes.
even need that. They are the
Yes.
power, but there's still an evolution. Like all those steps come, it's necessary.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I still love that. I still love doing all
Yeah.
of those things.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of clients and they've gone and done really good work once they're able to have something to hold on to
Yeah.
that offers them that protection or they can connect with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Fair
oh my
enough.
gosh.
So this is actually good because you also did the Spiritual Life University. So what kind of inspired you to go that direction? Like what I guess was the defining moment for you to be like, I'm going to do this thing?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I have to like back up and be like, when I found out that I had gifts and I realized everybody has these things, because I used to be the person like looking at the TV shows being like, how come I wasn't the chosen one? My
Yeah.
number one thing was I have to tell everybody. I have to
Yeah.
show them. And then I ended up, just having like a little business doing the readings and the healings and things like that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I decided to create a community because that's what I think that everybody needs.
Yeah.
Once they start opening up, it's like we are surrounded by a lot of times of people who don't think like us, who are completely
Hmm.
different than us, because we are light workers, right? Like we have this light inside of us and God source universe energy. It doesn't put us in parts of the world where there's a lot of light. Usually it's where
Right.
it's
That's exactly
dark.
right. It's so funny that you said that because we end up being the black sheep. I
Yes.
actually had this vision where my guides were telling me that they put us like if you looked at us as like little chess pawns, like little lit up chess pawns, and they had placed us in different places strategically all over the web, like all over the world.
Yes.
And it was just like that. It was like, we have to drop you in the hardest places. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
man, that super sucks. But also, I super get it. Like, which is why we end up being like the black sheep or whatever, because it scares people. They're
Hmm.
like change is scary. And not only is it scary, it's scary because it's hard fucking work. You have to be
Oh
consistent.
yeah.
You have to be accountable. You can't be a bitch. You have to actually
Yes.
show up and like, you can't be lazy. Like, you have to do the stuff. Nobody wants to do that, right? Like,
Oh
everybody's
no.
like, oh, it's so much easier to turn the other way and blah, blah, blah. But then it, lash out on us for being the advocates of change, you know?
Oh my gosh. It is the exact same thing. It's just
Yeah.
like, because I feel like we also are like the lighthouses, like the people who shine the light. And
Yeah.
we are a light to people who are away from the dark. And that's why they come to us. That's the reason why the empaths and narcissists or whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and we get taken advantage of. I know the most spiritual people, the most people who are most sensitive, they're the ones with the roughest beginnings, the toughest backgrounds, and that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it's because I feel like we are those magnets. And
Yeah.
so I know I forgot where I was even going with that, but
Well,
yes.
we were
So,
talking about your
oh,
spiritual life university, like your purpose in creating that.
yes, because it's like we need to be with other people who have that light inside of them. And so
Yeah.
I was doing coffee and cards every Sunday where I would just do readings for everybody. So I created the Coffee and Cards Club where we could meet. And then that turned into the Spiritual AF Academy.
Yeah.
But then I was going for a walk one day and I'm like, whoa, this needs to be bigger because I love to teach my way, right? I have my
Mm-hmm.
way of doing things and I try to learn from a wide variety of teachers, but I feel like it's really important for everybody to learn from different people. So that's why I created the Spiritual Life University. It was kind of like this aha moment. So I have different teachers coming in, teaching their modalities or their way of doing things. And one thing that I could not get across enough to people, it's like, okay, readings is just one thing. That's like 1% of what I use my gifts for. It's
Right.
all the rest of my life during my day that I use it for, to make decisions, to, tell me which way I should go in traffic, if I should do this, if I should do that. Like even sales, like how many times have I been like on my phone about to buy something and then I'm like, I get a no, no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I'm like, but I really want it,
Yeah.
And so then the next day it's 40% off. And I am like, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, oh, I see what you did there. Good call.
Yes, and this happens literally all of the time. Like
Right.
it was like the other day, it was so funny. I was leaving the house and I was going to be going to the gym when the house, but I was having a really good hair day, and all around my house, I was seeing hair ties, hair ties, hair ties, and I knew that they were telling me to take a hair tie, but I'm like,
Right.
no. Do you see how beautiful my hair is today? It
Yeah.
ain't going in a hair tie. And then I forgot, and by the time I went to the gym, I didn't have a hair tie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way. So I was using like my headphones
Oh, no.
and I was like, okay, my headphones will be my little, my little headband. And
Yeah.
guess what? I ended up breaking my headphones, which is another reason why I'm not wearing them today. And I am like, oh my gosh, if I would have just gotten the
If
freaking hair
you
tie,
just grab the hair tie. Yeah.
like they said, my life would be so much easier. And this just happens and compounds day after day after
Yeah.
day after day.
Well, and that's the thing, like we can't divorce that part of ourselves because so many of us do come into this reality already just very attuned and very on, like very just like we already, yeah, the DNA has already been, adjusted and we come in just completely vibing.
Oh, you mean like having like this knowing?
Yeah, like we already have the innate spiritual ability to just like,
Oh yeah.
it's not so everybody has it, right? Everybody has the ability to do it. Not everybody will know that they can do it. And not
Yes.
everybody will know that they can do it and put it out as a service to help others.
Oh my
Not
gosh.
everybody's got that path.
No, oh my gosh, that's a great point to bring up too. And I never thought that this was my path, but the thing
Right.
is, like to be honest, like I just felt too like I had been lied to like my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
because they make you so fearful and scared of this
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then if it does show up as pretty on TV and that kind of stuff, then that's an exception to the rule, or
Yeah.
that's for that person,
Because
you
it's
know.
there's TV magic and edits and all the things, whatever.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, no, it's like this is something that everybody could do and help out their life a lot more. And so that's the reason why that I'm like, okay, I need to get all these like people together. So that's the reason why like Spiritual Life University, we get together so many times and we have a lot of that healing done too. And then it makes your
Yeah.
life better because before I woke up, I was so scared. I was in this fear like based energy all of the time.
Oh
And I
my
think that's
God.
another reason why that I was so sick.
That's exactly, girl, you're speaking my language. Like that's exactly what happened to me. Now I did come in on. So I was very psychic
Oh,
as very little. But I was the only psychic medium in my family. Like I think my mom was super sensitive, but like not in the energy of stepping into that. They were still all repressing that stuff.
yes, you got to do
And
it.
so I had to come in to like shake the ancestry line awake. And so nobody in my family like understood. And I think by the time I was 4 or 5, I started realizing, oh, they can't see the things that I see. And I was already being mistreated for it or shunned for it. So I learned at a very young age to shut it down and not talk about it, pretend it wasn't there. And then as I got older, I was very resentful about that. And then I started having all kinds of health issues. So I didn't come out as a psychic publicly till I was 38 years old. I
Wow.
kept that shit as repressed as long as I could. And then yeah, it was definitely it was life-changing when I finally did say, okay, I've got to step into this differently.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. I love like how our different paths are because I actually was working for the army and I got sent down to Virginia for work. And when I was down there, I got to like explore spiritual stuff, like go to spiritual fairs with nobody judging me, and I could go
Yeah.
and get a psychic reading without my husband judging me because like one time we stopped off at like a tourist town and I got a tarot card reading or something and my husband's like, "You believe in that? Like I can't believe you're doing this." And so like he would always be judging. And so now when I went to Virginia, I found that there was this like mediumship and psychic circle. So I went to
Yeah.
it. And that's when I found out everybody has it and I started learning. But the thing is that I was still so embarrassed to tell my husband that I'm doing this. And
Mm.
so now it was like 5 years into our marriage. And like I remember like sitting him down one day, I gave him a few drinks at first before I told him, hey, I'm a psychic medium and this is what's going on, like, and so especially because of his judgment in the past,
At that
I was
point, did he
scared.
already kind of know? I mean, after living with you for so many years, he didn't
No, okay,
never put it together?
a little bit because I started meditating when I got sick, right? And
Yeah.
so I started meditating and things would happen and I would tell him things and he would be like, "How do you know? Who's telling you this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just me. I'm just telling me. I'm just telling me these things." And I was
Yeah.
like, "And you need to go to the doctor and this needs to
Yeah.
happen and blah blah blah."
It's
And
just a
so
feeling.
yes, but now he's like my biggest freaking fan. But it was so funny
Oh,
because he
that's
still had
so
a,
good.
I think it freaked him out a little bit because he didn't understand it. And I think that's the thing is that
That's the whole
people,
thing right there. Like
yes,
if people don't understand, it scares them and then they just shut down because
yes.
that's the easier thing to do.
One thing that really bothers me is that they're like, how do you know that you're connecting to grandma or whatever? Or how do you know that you're connecting to angels?
Hmm.
That's just, it could be something in disguise. And I'm like, well, when you go to church and you're praying, how do you know that you're praying to that
Thank
God?
you. Good
You
job,
know?
girl.
Like,
Exactly. It
like,
could just be disguise.
yes, it could be in
Come on.
disguise.
Well,
Like,
that's the
why
whole
is it okay for
reason
you?
why you can call it source, God, whatever your beliefs are,
Yes.
but he gives us the ability to discern. And that can also be chalked up as claircognizance, right? Like our
Oh,
innate
for sure.
our innate knowing. And you can feel it. If you actually know your the way your reference system works, which takes time to build that knowing, you can feel the difference. You can know. I know if I meet anyone in physical form, I know if they're a good person or not. Just like you know the difference between right and left. There's things you
Yes.
just know.
It's
And
so funny. Yeah, it just becomes a knowing thing.
it
And
does.
I think that once you open up and you start going on the spiritual realm, like I'm like, there's no way that I learned all this from books and from podcasts. I feel like you start to remember things
Well, and
that
honestly, just because I'm a podcast host and this is telling of myself, I don't even listen to podcasts. I'm hosting, but I can't, I'm so clear audience, like I can't have the talking at me in my ears and all the things. It freaks me out. So it's things like that. Like I can't even have those impressions left in me. I do read a lot of books though.
oh, I do love books.
Yeah, I
Oh,
do
I
read a lot of
do.
books. So, but
Yeah.
it's still, what about when I was 4 and I didn't read books? You know,
Oh,
what
yes,
about then?
exactly.
What
Yep.
about those experiences in that moment? It was still there. It was still happening.
Oh my gosh. I ended up writing my own book in 2019 called Anxiety to Angels because I ended up losing my mom. She was only 59 when she passed, and it was
Hmm.
very, very quick. It was cancer, but I mean, it was amazing. Spirit let me know that it was going to happen and gave me a heads up and stuff like that. But I remember thinking, when this I was going through all this, I was like, I know that in soon I'll be able to have a relationship with her again, like as
Yeah,
in an invisible relationship
yeah,
and stuff like that. But I was going through the grieving, and I was like, how incredibly horrible is it for people who are devastated by a loss of a loved one, but they don't know about, your body, is just your vessel and your
yeah,
spirit moves on. And
right.
so I created Anxiety to Angels because I had so much anxiety, with
Yeah,
my health issues, with my mom and stuff like that, and giving the steps to talk with your angels, so
yeah.
you can use them. We didn't get set down here to this
No,
crazy earth
and it's
alone.
it's actually such a good thing that you did that because I part of my awakening was after my daughter died in 2012. And same thing, like um there's so much knowledge to be shared about grief and the transition of our lost ones because we don't lose them. They don't
Mm-mm.
lose us. There's a transformation that happens, and so our connection to them does look different, but they're not gone. And people do need to know that. Like a lot of people don't, they're so afraid of anything that they don't even know that. And so I think it's good that you did that. I actually funny story too. I actually called the cops on my angel once. So when you talk about anxiety to angels, that for whatever the reason that brought that memory up because I have a 3-page police report on one time when I called the cops on my angel. True story. Um,
Oh.
yeah, I'll have to tell you that story one time, but yeah, it was a whole thing.
Oh
Um,
my gosh, that's so funny because I almost told you too that my husband did call the police when I was in my psychic circle because I told him it was a
okay.
meditation circle and he was worried about me and I wasn't answering my phone. And so that was
So he
funny.
was
So
like, "Oh no, something
yes,
bad's
yes. And he's like,
happening."
"Where is my wife?" Because he was worried about me because he was here in Michigan and I wasn't answering my phone, but he had gotten my grid coordinates and gave it to the police. And so
Oh yeah.
luckily, I went into the bathroom because I had a feeling. And then when I answered the phone call, it was the police. They were like, "Your husband has convinced us that you're being held against your will. So we're on our way to
He's
you." And
like,
I was like, "No, I'm okay. I'm okay."
that's hilarious wellness check. That's so funny. So you also have a podcast, the spiritual AF, right?
Yeah, spiritual AF life.
I want to know, I have a couple questions for you about that. Do you have any favorite episodes or any least favorite episodes?
Oh, that is a great
I would
freaking
like to hear one of
question.
each if you can share.
Oh my gosh, yes. I would think that, okay, I hate this. I'm sorry I'm talking about my husband so much, but my favorite episode was with him. And
Okay.
we talk about the different kinds of ghosts and how come you don't have ghosts that are, like where's the 80s ghost? Why are they all like from like the 1800s or 1700s? And then we start going into a time when he actually seen a ghost, but only the legs of the ghost.
Okay.
And so then I never asked him these questions before. And so I'm asking him, I'm like, are they what kind of ghosts? I was like, what kind of legs were they? Were they like, Tina Turner legs, And we started laughing and stuff. And then he was wearing ghost pants, okay? He was like, it scared the
Ghost
shit out of
pants.
me. He was like, I wasn't looking at his fashion style. He was like, I was halfway down the freaking stairs before before I seen
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah.
So I loved that. And any least favorite episodes that I had. Okay, so the one that's coming up to me is I did an episode, it's a solo episode with me, and I was comparing our life to Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Okay.
Because in Dungeons and Dragons, you have to build out a character sheet and you only get so many points and that kind of stuff. And so it's like
Okay.
the same thing with us. When we come down here, we may not be the most beautiful, but we may not be the most smartest. We have to use our points in certain ways.
Yeah.
And I don't think I did it justice. I think it ended up going too long and too in the weeds because I was doing the full character sheets of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And so I think that it took away some of its magic when I actually sent it out there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I
I
think
can
so.
understand. Like when you over like hyper fixate on certain things
Yes.
and then it kind of steals the magic from it. Yeah.
Exactly,
Totally.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Like I've always had like the best, and I think you have the same way too, like the best guests and things like that. I always learn something from each and every one of them. Like no one has ever been low vibrating. I've always gotten at least a couple of things out of every single guest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have to say it's when I have a crazy idea and then I take too long to explain it or I don't explain it well.
Yeah. One of the things that I have found, this is a little bit different, but kind of the same, is I've had people that would ask me, oh, if you see a spirit or you have an experience with, otherworldly beings, are you asking its name? Are you doing these things? Are you seeing what it wants? Or, I mean, it's kind of a given that that naturally happens when we're channeling anyway. But the one thing that I felt stood out the most to me was like, no, because what happens if is your ego gets involved. The moment you
Mm,
start doing that, you're shutting down your experience already instead of
yes.
sitting with it. You have to
Yes.
allow the experience to happen. All the pieces, all the information will be there. It's there when you want to access it. But the moment your ego kind of like gets loud and is like, who is this? What's their name? What do they want? Like sometimes that can be, it can just shut down the whole magic of the experience altogether. And so that's kind of one of those situations where I go, oh yeah, I know how you can hyperfixate and fuck things up. Exactly. Because
Perfect.
I might not need to know all that stuff right then. Like I might need to honor the experience first and then the information's still there if I need to access it. And most of the time, I will say for myself, like I'm having experiences nonstop.
Hmm.
It's just it's an integrated part of my reality, and it's never something I can divorce. So with that being said, a lot of times I don't ask those questions because I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm
No.
like,
Mm-mm.
I don't care what their name is and all the things. Who fucking cares? Like,
Yep.
I get what I need out of the experience. They get what they need out of the experience, and then we go our separate ways. Like, I'm not stopping every stranger on the street going, "What's your name? Where do you live? Why are you here?" I don't give a fuck.
Yes.
Like,
It's like
like,
they're not coming to you for that to get that message or
right,
whatever. So
right,
you allow them, like, why are you coming
right.
down here? Like, why are you talking to me? Why are
Yeah,
those things? And I think that's more beautiful in it because I agree with you. You get into that ego mindset.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like if the information of numbers, addresses, the way they died, names, if I need to know it, they're already going to be bringing that through anyway.
Hmm.
So I don't really have to work hard. I can just be, you
Ex Oh my
know?
gosh, yes.
Yeah,
And that will help you have that
right.
better connection and blend better, with the spirit and give you whatever messages that they have.
Yeah.
I think that the ones who are really like that too, I feel like they're not firm believers yet, they still need a little bit of that.
They need the
And
feedback, which is, it totally serves a purpose, no doubt about it.
mm,
Like, you do have to go, it's again part of the evolution, right? Where you learn how to build the confidence is because you learn, I mean, unfortunately, you have to learn the hard way at lots of things.
To me, it reminds me of a relationship. It's like when you're still in the beginning of the relationship, you might ask a lot of questions and be like, where are you from? Like, what's this? What's that? What's this? And
Yeah.
then you start, developing more time and stuff like that to where it's like now you're an old married couple. And so you're like, okay, what do you want to say? What's going on here? And then you just have this trust,
Well, yeah, and
because
even if you're starting out a relationship like you're saying, and you're getting to, oh, what's your name? What's your age? Does it even matter? You're gonna get to
yep,
know this person. Those names and ages really don't matter. Like,
exactly.
you're gonna understand their vibration and their intentions, and that's gonna be the the magic stuff, the magic middle, right? Like that's gonna be where all what's important.
Oh my gosh. And I've even had readings too where the person, like I've given them like tons of names,
Yeah.
like tons of names, tons of all this stuff. And we're just like, yeah, but I know all of that. you
Yeah.
know, like
Well, and that's
totally
even
like
names and numbers
unimpressed.
are really only important to us because
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
still
exactly. It's because
human.
we're feeding what? We're feeding our ego,
Yeah,
that
right.
kind of thing. And so
Yeah,
it's like, no, it's like some people they need more depth, they want that message or whatever it is. And if we
yeah,
allow whatever it is that we're connecting to fully go through us, it would give us the full experience. Like they
yeah,
might know a little bit more than we do, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, and even like our guides, like I can speak in my experience, like for the sake of learning to connect with them, if you need something to call them, sure, they're going to give you a name, but they don't give a fuck about the names. Like
No,
they,
that's what I tell everybody.
they
I
know,
am
like
like,
you could call them whatever you want. Like they don't care. Like
yes,
you
they just
just
want a
pick it.
relationship with you.
Yeah. So they might could bring in some sort of name that you can call them or something that you, whatever, that they preferred to go by, whatever, but they really don't care.
And I'm like, they probably have past lives as well. And how many
Hmm.
of like which name do you want them to use?
Right. It's
It's
like, does it matter? Like they
yeah.
know when we're calling on them and we don't need a name to put that intention out there.
I know, and
So
then I was
they
so
only do it to
obsessed.
make us feel better.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like I was so obsessed with trying to get my spirit guide's name that I ended up finding the name Joel. And honestly, to be honest, I don't even like the name Joel. And my spirit guide doesn't give a crap, and but it's been
Hmm.
happening for so long that I cannot not call him Joel, and I do not like that name at all. And so then I am like,
I
I
have the
wish I would
same
just assign the name.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have the same experience. I actually have two guides that I talk to a lot, and both have names. Well, Renee's my main guide, and I'm not a huge fan. Sorry if this offends anyone named Renee or Greg, by the way. Um, I'm not against the name Renee. I think it's a pretty name, but I can't stand the name Greg. And that's one of my guides, and I despise that name. I'm like, I actually am very triggered by that name. And so I'm like,
Yes.
that's interesting that you would choose that name. So it's, yeah,
Yes. So I'm like, just choose a name that you like. Like just do that. Like learn from
yeah,
our lessons.
yeah. So one more question I wanted to ask you before we wrap up was when you're in a season of drought or doubt,
Mm.
what is like one thing that you feel like helps you move through that would be good advice for people starting out?
Oh my gosh, I would love to know your answer to that because 1000% it's writing. It's like
Yeah.
the
Okay.
automatic writing. It's writing, getting those emotions out,
Yeah.
just constantly keep on, to doing that. And I will do that maybe even several times a day, but I don't read what I write until afterwards.
Hmm.
And I will always start off with how I'm feeling, like what I need help on. And a
Hmm.
lot of times I'll start off by usually I go to my angels for that. So I'll be like, "Dear angels, like I am not feeling this," and I will just keep on going. And then I'll just keep on writing until it's almost like as if they take over. And if you're new to this and you don't know how to do this, just keep on writing. Just keep on writing whatever comes up.
Yeah.
Even
Don't judge it.
don't judge it. So, because even if you start giving yourself answers or ideas come to you, just keep on writing it because it's
Yeah.
almost as if I believe that they're downloading into your mind,
Yeah.
things that will help. And that's like number one thing, my go-to emotional freedom technique, which is tapping.
Yeah.
That as well. EFT is huge as well, to help get me out of it. Those are probably my two main ones.
Yeah.
How about you?
So for me, I will deeply honor stillness. So for
Mm.
me, I want to be able to withdraw and honor the fact that I need as much quiet and less doing. So I'm not doing busy work because what we will do naturally is get into busy work. What should I do? I feel stuck. There's not anything happening, but doing is your enemy in those moments. And being is the only thing that will help you move through that with less like resistance. So I practice as much stillness and far less doing.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's probably something that I need to do.
Yeah, like that's so I will not socialize. I will stop doing phone calls. Like I really go deep withdrawn.
And I know one thing too I've been doing lately is grounding, like literally putting my feet outside in the
Oh, that's a
grass
good
anytime
one.
where I'm really funky. And I seriously just feel like the energy coming up through the soles of my feet and just like healing me. And
Yeah.
honestly, like raising my vibration a little bit or like
Hmm.
healing parts. You know how they say that we can get like tears in our aura and that kind of stuff? like I can almost feel it like healing that as well.
Yeah.
But I like the stillness one. That's definitely one that I need to take. Maybe that's the reason why that spirit told me to ask you which one that you do, because they're like, Heather,
Oh,
that's what you need more of is stillness. But I
maybe.
am I am one where it's like hard for me to sit still. So
Yeah.
that's probably the reason why I need it.
It might help. I do love grounding barefoot though. That's a good one. That's probably one of
Oh,
my top faves.
it really is. And I love trees, like,
Yeah.
getting healing from trees and just
Yeah.
like talking to them as well. Like you look kind of Looney Tunes, but I don't even care anymore. It's
It
like
doesn't even
my,
matter.
yeah, like my
People call
connection.
us Looney Tunes, demonic, Satan. They call us everything anyway. So what difference does it
Oh,
make?
I know, isn't that nuts? And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like, and we're
crazy.
and we're the ones that are like the love and light ones. We're the ones that don't have this judgment and that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that the message from the trees or the grounding, whatever I'm doing, it's worth being called crazy for. Like
Yeah,
I'm
for
okay.
sure. You're
Like
like,
I'll do
hey,
it.
if it fills my cup, I don't care.
Yes.
Um, all right, Heather, where can people find you when they're looking? I mean, we said your podcast and we said your spiritual life university, but do you have a preference if they reach out to you by Facebook or Instagram or and I'll keep everything in the show notes too, but if you want to go
Oh.
ahead and
Well, I'm Heather Danielle, Psychic Medium on Facebook, and I have a free Facebook group called Rise into Your Power, and then also on Instagram, I'm Spiritual AF Heather Danielle. So any
nice.
of those is cool. I tried to be on all of those, in my group and in Facebook and on Instagram. So, but I would love to. So if anybody has any questions or whatnot, I definitely am an open book. So
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Heather. I know that this has been a long time coming, but I'm glad we got to finally sit down and talk to you. And we can just say goodbye to our guests, and we will see you next time.
yes, thanks everyone.
Bye, guys. Thank you for joining Own Your Essence. I am beyond grateful to our guests for sharing their wisdom and to you, our listeners, for being part of this journey toward healing and empowerment. If today's conversation resonated with you, please feel free to subscribe, leave a review, and share this space with others who might need it. If you have questions, topic ideas, want to be a guest, or would like to work with me privately, send an email. I'd love to hear from you.